Hello, everybody. This is Tom, your host for Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this Friday evening? Anyway, tonight's live stream is going to be about like we don't have anything to talk about, right? World War III to No King's Day. When I mean World War III, obviously I'm talking about Israel and Iran spiraling out of control. You know, so we got two major things that's going on in this world tomorrow. Okay. Obviously, we got people in this country that don't want to go out and go fishing and have a good time and go have a picnic. They'd rather protest. So more power to them. But anyway, those are the two subjects tonight. But anyway, I hope everybody, this world's getting crazy. I hope if you have time to enjoy yourself, you're taking the time to enjoy yourself. Get ready for all the craziness that may come down the pike, but taking time to enjoy yourself. You know, I if you watch some of my shorts and you see where I live and stuff, like I always stress the traditional America. Hey, Carol, how you doing? It's good to see you. We'll see if this gets into a crazy live stream because I need to make you a moderator, but I can't figure out how to do it. I got to the moderator page once, can't remember how to get there. But when I was getting thousands of views, it was getting kind of crazy. I'm sure you were there for some of them, but anyway, but YouTube really slammed it down after that time. I got almost 11,000 views on a live stream in less than an hour or so. I tell you what, Carol, the channel was growing like crazy. They just shut her down. But anyway, it's good to see you. I hope you're enjoying life and having a good time, especially, with the march you went through and the march I went through shortly after that, but we're all strong, But anyway, I'm out here. I always stress I'm out here where we don't have to lock our doors and we don't have to take the keys out of our vehicles and stuff, where the old America, the traditional America still exists. And I love it here. And that's why it's hard watching what's going on in the world and in this country. And it's hard to because I live in an area where people wouldn't do that. But anyway, we wouldn't accept it. Okay, if somebody tried doing that, those people tried coming here, we'd end it real quick. But anyway, we're a couple minutes into the live stream, and let's start discussing the Israeli-Iranian deal. Okay, well, we all know that the Muslims and the Jews have been at war for thousands of years. So, it's not like this is any new, something new that's been going on just in the last couple days. They just have bigger and better weapons to shoot at each other. But it sounds like Israel was pretty successful with their decapitation strike they had last night. Sounds like they took out some very high people. All the general staff. Are you kidding me? All the general staff? I mean, that's going to be hard to replace in a short time. The organization and stuff, there's a lot of knowledge that went up that last night. Anyway, Israel must have some really good spies in Iran. That's all I know. They talk about the precision weapons and stuff. It's the people they got in there doing the spying too. So, but it sounds like they had a very successful attack, and then I guess they did the old drone thing like Ukraine did, and then took out the missile defense and then flew the planes in and stuff. So, years of planning. But yeah, things are going to get crazy. This is just a war that's been wanting to start for years and years and years, okay? And the world's just so on fire now that we become desensitized to killing people and blowing shit up, you might say. The choppers was flying over because Trump was here. Oh, Trump was at Fort Bragg, really? Huh, cool. That's why the choppers were there, huh? Well, it was a weird formation. That's all I got to say. So, but Carol's talking about, she sent me some pictures. She lives by Fort Bragg there in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and she sent me some pictures of some chopper activity. So anyway, but then I guess we'll get into the No King's Day and January 14th and the military parade stuff. But let's stick on this World War III, how this could spread. Okay. I mean, Iran is, they lobbed a few volleys back and stuff. I don't really think they did all that much damage and stuff, but, they're just kind of, I feel they got knocked out and they're laying, some fighters, you see them, they get knocked out and they're still waving their hands. That's kind of what it's like. It seems to me like it's going on in Iran right now. They got so shaken up last night and weren't expecting to lose the top people like they did. And they have to do some restructuring quick. There's a lot of people that are going to be getting promoted into these positions that aren't ready for it and aren't as qualified. So, just like Stalin, when he decapitated his military in the late 30s and stuff, did the purge, and then they didn't really have the strong military they needed to face the Nazis at that time. But, when you take out the whole general staff and their leading nuclear scientists and stuff, see, that's spies inside. That's spies inside doing a lot of that work. So they know where to drop the bombs, so they know where to take them out, okay? Of course, Iran knows this, and I'm sure there'll be a few executions in the next couple of days there. But that's war. Are we going to get drug into it? Well, first thing is, Trump said he didn't know nothing about it. Jeff, everybody's welcome in this country, but come the right way. Yeah, I say that exactly too, Jeff. And we're going to get into that subject next, the No King's Day, but absolutely. Because the thing is, why do you come in this country legally? To make it fair that all the people that came to this country illegally. Nobody gets a free pass in today's world. But we're going to get on that subject. So what happens if we get drugged into this war? See, the thing is, we're going to be helping pay for it, that's for sure. There's just not a war that happens in the world that the United States doesn't have to have some control over, and they throw their money at it, or our money at it, I'll say. But oh yeah, there's going to be, if we could just stay out of it. But Iran. Now, you hear all these sleeper cells that have been activated and stuff. Well, no shit. Just like the Muslim Imam, one of their high priests, whatever they call them, the other day was calling for all Muslims in America to join the protest against the infidels. We allow this shit into our country. We don't personally, the people that are tax-paying American citizens that go to work every day, and struggle and, stuff like that. Not us, but the people we elect. And then the people that don't really do nothing. But anyway, the thing is with these wars, okay, even when I was in the Marine Corps overseas back in the late 80s dealing with this stuff, and I was starting to see, I saw the hatred that the people had for us. It wasn't exactly the safest thing for a Marine to walk down the street by himself in the middle of the night in those countries, anywhere in Europe, especially because we dealt with terrorism back then. But now, all I do is think back to the days of Monica Lewinsky. What all we had to do was worry about Monica Lewinsky. The thing is, with the Jews and Muslims this time, when they go to war finally this time, I want them to finally settle the shit. So their future generations, their kids and their grandkids and the kids after that, can grow up in a peaceful Middle East. Wouldn't that be great? After thousands of years that the Middle East has been at war, even through the Crusades when the Europeans were there, where they could have thousands of years of peace finally. Maybe they can beat the shit out of each other enough. What side would you be on? On Iran or Israel? None. I don't want to be in none of it. I mean, I was in Israel back in '87. Had a great time there. Trained with the Israeli commandos. But that Israel that I saw is hijacked. Just like the America that I grew up in has been hijacked. Did I vote for Trump? Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't vote for Harris. I don't vote for communists. But I don't believe Trump is the best thing the Republicans, the conservatives have to offer. And it's the one thing with politics. I'm sick and tired of the political parties. The only thing they can sit there and come up with is these fossils or people that have been president before or their family members. Where is the young blood in these political parties that are going to come up? That's why I like J.D. Vance, the young blood. Who did I vote for? I voted for America. That's what I voted for. Okay? Where do you think we'd be right now if Kamala Harris was president? I mean, it's hard to look at the country and the world and say it could be worse, but it would be worse. It would be worse, so I guess we can be thankful. But anyway, you know, we're gonna get involved in this, and we've given them intelligence. I mean, you can see the U.S.'s fingerprints all over this. And then they're saying that Trump did the deception by trying to deceive Iran when the attack was going to happen, to try to deceive them, lulling them into their feel a little bit more safe. Whatever. You know, this is the thing. We're never going to know the truth. We're never going to know all the facts. They're going to throw out 10% facts and 90% disinformation. Okay? You get to sit there and decide what's the truth and what isn't the truth. Hell no, the world will end in 2 months. J.D. Vance. Are you kidding me? You know why I like J.D. Vance? Because he started out his adult life in those little yellow footprints at boot camp, just like I did in the Marine Corps. Okay? He got out of the Marine Corps in NCO. He got to see what the world was really like. And the thing is, you guys think Trump is so bad? Watch some of my videos. Wait till you start dealing with a jarhead like that. Sorry. I support him all day long. I can identify with him. Now, when he gets more in the public eye and we start, more of his characters start showing, then we'll see. But I did like the way he bitch slapped Zelensky in the White House. See, this is one thing a Marine does. Trump is his commander-in-chief, and he still thinks like a jarhead. See, this is the thing you people don't understand. You can turn a civilian into a Marine, but you can't turn a Marine back into a civilian. So he's still thinking jarhead. And when that Oval Office incident happened, his CO was standing there getting mocked, and the lieutenant was going to do something about it. I enjoyed the hell out of that. It showed me he still got the rights, got it right in the head. So I don't care if you don't like J.D. Vance. I think he's great. I think he'd be a great president. He'd be new blood. The thing is, if you don't like him and you're a Democrat, then, I don't know, find some new blood. I mean, if you think it's AOC or Omar or Jacqueline Crockett or, you know, any of those other ones that talk a bunch of stupid stuff, go for it. But see, you know why you're never going to get in office if you Democrats never change your strategy? Because you guys never figured out why you lost yet. The only thing you figured out why you lost because you hate Trump. Not everybody that voted for Trump liked Trump. But we definitely weren't going to go down the path that Kamala Harris was going to take us down. See, this is the thing when you get into politics these days and we get to vote for president and we have to vote for the lesser of two evils. I'm sick of that too. Let's get two candidates that are gleaming and shining that are great Americans. Yeah, they made their mistakes, but hell, they're great Americans. They understand the young. And they're wise enough to be mature enough at old, okay? Where are those candidates at? J.D. Vance is that candidate, and he's gonna campaign, and young people on both sides of the aisle are gonna like him. I mean, how are you gonna bash him? He's got a wife that isn't from this country, or a wife that isn't white. Oh, well, we can't cut him down on that. I mean, all this stuff. I mean, he fits a lot of the boxes for a Democrat. And he checks a lot of boxes for Republicans, especially young conservative and vets. Okay? All I know is all us enlisted Marines, we finally get one that's running for president. I can tell you where the Marine Corps vote's going to go. All the way. Like I said, I can't wait to see J.D. Vance shooting skeet in the backyard of the White House, and his wife picks up the shotgun and kicks his ass and shoot him. I can't wait to see that. That would be the most awesomest thing to see. Boy, would that set the liberals off. They wouldn't know how to stop complaining. Anyway, you know, the president's allowed to exercise his Second Amendment rights too. Right? So, Michelle couldn't lead a horse to water. Yeah. A horse would look at her. I mean, I tell you what, when you're dealing with a horse, you're dealing with an animal that's just as smart as a human being. I'd say the two smartest animals in the world are a dolphin and a horse. That horse has already got you figured out. And anyway, I'd love to see it. I'd love to sit there and put Michelle on top of Beauty once. You know, a little 2-year-old girl could ride her. But that's because Beauty would never hurt a 2-year-old little girl. But somebody like Michelle, she can be a bitch. Anyway, but back to the war. I tell you what, in these live streams, I get distracted sometimes. But I tell you what, when I got the numbers like I did before, at least it's slow now. When you get 3,000 comments in an hour, you know, it's hard to keep up with the live stream. Yeah. Yeah, and he's a citizen. I like that. Yeah, he's a citizen, right? Let's not go into the birth certificate thing. Another conspiracy that probably proven right, but that's a subject for another day. Conspiracy theories. But anyway, getting back to this war. If the U.S. gets into it, you know, could we possibly see troops on the ground in Israel before we could Ukraine? I don't know. See, the thing is, we don't have the troops. We're talking about sending troops here and there, right, to fight World War III. And then our next subject coming up is the protest riots in the cities, and we're supposed to send troops there to cover that stuff. We don't have that many troops. But anyway, is it possible? I think the U.S. would help out in a lot of ways before we put boots on the ground there. Of course, we're going to have our special forces and our advisors over there doing their thing, you know, collecting intel, training. Yeah, right. The people that they're working with are already highly trained. It's called collecting intel. But anyway, we get drug into this. I mean, the thing is, they can sink an aircraft carrier. They can do stuff like that, stuff that the United States has not experienced since World War II. I mean, is America ready for that? I don't think so. For one thing, we ain't got the manufacturing base to supply a war like that. So that's what's going on. Anyway, that's enough on the Israel-Iran thing. It's crazy. It's just going to escalate because the gloves are off between those two. So keep appraised of the situation. And react accordingly. Okay, act accordingly. Maybe a few trips to the store would help. Now let's talk about No King's Day. You know, jeepers cripes. You can't hear the thunder, but the thunder is shaking the house. Tell you what, the weather's been weird, but that's the second time that happened tonight. You couldn't hear the thunder. Saw the lightning, you couldn't hear the thunder, but it's shaking the house. Crazy times, huh? Here in Nebraska, we don't have earthquakes. That's definitely the thunder shaking the house. If you like speaking hidden truths, yeah, I like speaking. I don't have a problem speaking to a group. Give me a subject. But it's not like I had a plan on being on YouTube years ago. It's just after all this crazy stuff's going on, I want to help spread the word and the truth. Okay. You're in southeast Nebraska, over by Omaha and Lincoln. I'm out here in the Panhandle. So we're, like I say, where we don't have to lock our doors or take the keys out of our vehicle. By the way, let's get to No King's Day, okay? And it's January 14th military parade and all this other stuff, okay? Now, why can't people on a Saturday go to a barbecue, go to the beach, go to the lake, go for a walk? No, what's the liberal Democrats doing? They're going to have a protest in a bunch of cities all over the country. Now, the closest one, they're having one in North Platte, and it looked like Alliance in Scotts Bluff. Well, Alliance, that kind of makes sense because that's where Tim Waltz taught school. He had a horse semen incident, too, there in the 90s. Not sure what's in something where he ingested too much of horse semen, or he had to go to the hospital and have his stomach pumped and stuff like that. Yeah, crazy stuff. Well, it was in the newspaper. But don't worry, vice president material on the Democrat side. So, but that makes sense in Alliance. But that's going to be the closest around here. Those are the biggest. I think North Platte's probably the biggest one. It's got maybe 6,000, 7,000 people in it. So you're not dealing with big cities. And it's probably going to be, all the people that. Well, okay, let's get down to really what's happening. They are paying protesters. I've seen YouTube videos where people are getting paid to protest. One of them was actually doing it because he needed the money, $150 a day. But when they were pulling out the pallets of bricks, he stayed. But when they pulled out the pallets of Molotov cocktails, he decided, well, maybe this isn't exactly what I believe in. Okay, and then another guy where they offered him $200 a day to protest. I can't remember where that was at. But that's how you're going to get people to protest and do all these illegal things. See, they couldn't buy nobody if we start enforcing the law. How do these pallets of stuff show up? Now we're talking about the protests. I wanted to go on about No King's Day. Because these protests, find out who paid for it. They had to come from a business somewhere. Go there and check the receipts and find out who paid for it and where the money came from. It's not that hard, FBI. You can do that with us all day long. You figure that we used our credit card to commit a crime. You can track down where we did it, what time we did it, and video of us sitting at the register while we did it. Right? But it's amazing. The FBI can't catch down criminals on the left, sex offenders that are beyond evil, scammers. They can't track none of that stuff down. But the American citizen, they got them down to a T. Anyway, side note. Let's get to this No King's Day that you want to sit there and have, okay? Number one. I made a short about this. Democrats don't believe in no kings, huh? What was all that mainstream media reporting when Prince Charles became king? and you guys were so into it, and he was so great, but we're going to have a no king day, huh? Does that mean you're going to have protests outside Buckingham Palace, the residence of your favorite king? See, I could sit there and make shorts all day long about the retardedness of these liberal Democrat communists because they don't think. No king day because Trump thinks he's acting like a king. No, Trump's doing with this ICE raids, he's doing what the voters who voted him in, the people of this country, the people that have the real authority in this country, those people we finally got listened to, and he was doing that. So how is he a king? And he's just following the Constitution. He's not making laws up and saying, 2 days ago it was legal for anybody to come to the United States however they want, but I'm deciding I'm a king and I'm just going to change that. Really? The thing is, if he doesn't enforce the law that he's required to, he can get charged with dereliction of duty. He can see, that's something you Democrats, if he weren't to deport any illegals, you could impeach him for that. Yeah, it's amazing. You can actually impeach a president if he doesn't do his job. But this is what the American voter demanded out of him. And I don't think he's gone far enough. Oh, we're deporting the illegals. No, all of them are criminal illegals. Get rid of them all of them. To me, I don't care about what these crimes are. Give them a one-way bus ticket back to where they can go. Okay? It's not like they've been committed to these crimes and they're going to stand trial in the United States for what they've done. That ain't going to happen. They're going to get shipped out. And like I say, you want to end it? Just put $1,000 bounty on every illegal in this country and turn every law-abiding American loose to collect bounties. Within 48 hours, every illegal in this country would either be gone by bounty hunters' help, or most of them, 90% of them, would be because they decided to leave, knowing that, hey, people could give money for turning us in. And how much money would that save the federal government? A lot. But see, then again, that would solve the problem, and then it would be so some people would get upset. Most Americans would be for that. I know vets and patriots wouldn't have a single problem at all enforcing the law if the federal government can. As an American citizen, even if you weren't in the military, you should still have the Constitution's back. All right? The mail is painfully slow. They don't even tell me about it. Years ago, you could send a letter from here to another state, and it would take 3 days maybe. Now I send stuff to my kids, and it takes over a week. But that's efficiency and stuff, but that's a total another subject for another time. Just part of the, the collapse of America. It can't even handle the mail anymore. But anyway, there's no King's Day. Trump's not acting like a king. He's acting within the Constitution. Okay? It's the Democratic judges that are trying to stop him. Trump was in office the first 4 years. And the Democrats did nothing but come up with Russiagate and all this other shit that was made up stuff, tried to impeach him twice. Well, the second time they impeached him, he wasn't even president anymore. And remember, that happened in a period of 16 hours? Boy, talk about fast and speedy justice, huh? And they still couldn't get it to pass. But anyway, why don't you let the man try to do his work once? It's kind of hard for me to want to judge him and demand stuff out of him, that he gets stuff done, when the Democrats are fighting him at every corner when he's trying to do his job. I mean, you judges think that you can overrule the president of the United States? Really? Boy, I wonder what happened if a conservative judge did that when a Democrat was in office. I wonder how far that would fly. Just because a judge comes down with an order and signs his name to a piece of paper, it don't mean shit, buddy, unless you're able to back it up. And this is what I'm saying. The American people are backing up Trump, the majority of them. Just because you have a bunch of people, maybe 20% of the population, screaming really loud, doesn't make them the majority. That's what they used to say when Hitler was on the rise. He would make the screaming minority seem like the majority. And that's what these people are thinking. When Trump won the popular vote too, and I'm sure there were shenanigans that went on that made the numbers a little closer, right? Or whatever. But he's got a mandate. And if he don't fulfill it, us American people are. So what are you going to sit there and say? We're acting as kings? We just want the law enforced in this country, just like it's enforced on all of us. Which one of you guys get to pick what law you're going to bring today? Oh, I'm deciding I'm not going to obey the speed limit. I'm going to go 90 and a 30. Fuck it. Oh, I decided, hey, I want to make a deposit from the bank, but I want to do it with a gun. I don't want to obey that law today. Fuck it. See, I made it short too. The difference in this immigration thing is people that immigrate here legally want to be Americans. They're coming to America to be Americans because they like the American way of life, they like the United States, and they're sick of the shithole they're coming from, and they want to be Americans and become productive Americans and make America great. You come here illegally, you don't want to be an American. That's as simple as you can put fucking legal and illegal immigration, the simplest mindset you can put it to these people. Having protests and waving the Mexican flag and shit. Are you kidding me? And the Palestinian flag and the El Salvadorian flag. Fine, if you like your country so much, then go the hell back. If living in the United States is so hard and stressful on you, then go back to the country you came from. You know, you got the government sitting there saying, you know, the king, Donald Trump's administration saying, hey, you're an illegal and you want to go back to your country, come to us. We'll get you there. We'll help you out. What better offer can you get than that? They're trying to be humane about it. But then what you hear is these people, because they just want to come here and exploit the American people. And you got American people that just support them, like this No King's Day. How many stupid Americans are going to show up for that, thinking that Donald Trump is a king? Okay? He's no king. Everybody knows he ain't going to be president in 2028. All this Trump in 2028 talk is nothing but to sit there and stroke you Democrats. I like to say, if we get the democracy that everybody wants, seems that the Republicans want it and the Democrats want it, well, then they can change the rules and Trump could be run for a third term. And then you guys could have Barack Obama run against them and everything would be hunky-dory fine because we're not following the Constitution anyway. Oh, my God. We got a rule book in this country and nobody follows it, and they wonder why this country's so fucking messed up. Okay? You can't have freedom and tyranny all at the same time. All right? And, you know, you can't take a free person, shove a bunch of shit down their throat and expect them not to sit there and spit it back in your face. But anyway, this No King's Day. All these people do when they say Trump, 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 Trump did this, Trump did that. And when they say it about something that Trump's doing that we want it, they're basically saying, no, the American citizen, the conservative is doing this. Stop saying Trump. Okay, they hate us. They want this. They got their little army up here the last 4 years under Biden. And they want to let that army loose on the patriots so bad. But there's only one little problem with their plan. Kamala Harris didn't get elected president so she could control the military to stay out. Donald Trump is the president, and now they'd have to fight the patriots and the military. Like you said, we're still at war. We're at war on our own soil. from a foreign invader that was let in. So, I firmly believe that. And when most Americans catch up, sir, who is going to do our landscaping if we don't deport the I'm so sick of this, okay? Americans will do it. I've done landscaping. You watch some of my shorts in my yard. My yard was 4-foot weeds 4 months ago. Now it's a green lawn. I work in the ag industry. I've worked in farming, but I'm working in ranching now. If we're such a lazy community, I made a short about that today. All the Democrats talk about is how these illegal immigrants can serve Americans and do jobs that Americans don't want. Okay? Do we really need a slave class in this society, culture in America? Because that's what it sounds to me like the Democrats want. People to come here to serve us. Don't you see it that way? They're not saying, hey, why don't you come here legally, become good, productive Americans, and live the American dream and make America so more successful. No, they don't do that. What these illegals can do to serve us, I don't need anybody fucking serving my ass. I do jobs that illegals won't even do. I got plenty of job security. Just check out my shorts. You'll see. But it's peaceful and quiet out there in those pastures with nobody. Okay, everybody, Google is in the live stream. They're deleting messages. That is not me doing it. I do not have moderators. So Google's in here deleting messages. So watch what you say, I guess. I don't care what you say. I believe in freedom of speech, even if you disagree with me. But I don't run YouTube. Google does. So just poop shorts. Just check out my shorts, dude. You like them. I tell you what, I have plenty of job security. Like I say, AI robots wouldn't even do what I do. So I decided to start my own little business doing it. It's great. It's great. The lazier Americans get, the more money I make. That's crazy. But that's the world we live in these days. But, I don't believe we need a slave caste in this country. Okay? If Americans are that lazy where we won't even pick our own food, well, we'll be taken over by the enemy pretty goddamn soon then. But I'm so against that argument, especially when I work a job that does do that stuff. So what am I lower than an American citizen because I'll do jobs that nobody else will do? See, I'm not going to starve, and I'm not going to ask anybody for a handout because I'm a capable human being who can take care of himself. And if I want to be a lone wolf prepper, that means I got to be totally independent from the system, which I am. The only thing that I have to deal with the federal government is paying taxes. That's it. And I will never take Social Security or Medicare. Oh, I don't have to take Medicare because I got the VA. But, I don't go to the VA either. But I will not be dependent on the system. So when it all comes crashing down, humanity loves its change. The Democrats, no Republicans are going to save us. Yeah, this is my philosophy. I'm glad you brought that up. Back in the 90s, I came up with a philosophy on Democrats and Republicans. Democrats want to babysit you. Republicans want to control you. Which one do you want? See, that's why I'm an American. I don't follow no political flag. I'm an American. I follow the Constitution, the document that I swore to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Okay? Do you build an underground bunker capable of withstanding a nuke yet? Well, let me tell you something. There ain't no nuclear bunker that I can create where I'm at right now that's going to hold off a nuclear strike because I'm 10 miles just to the east of the nuclear missile silos, okay? So if I have a chance, now up where I work in northern Nebraska, it's better out there. But, we go nuclear and stuff. I don't even want to know what a full-scale nuclear engagement would look like. But, here in Nebraska, it wouldn't be the safest place. And then after a nuclear strike, you'd be like, oh, I was in an area that didn't get hit, but I'm only 3 miles from a nuclear power plant. Welcome to getting hit just a different way, okay? But no, I haven't built it. But I do got another channel, though. Lone Wolf Prepper Lives, if you want to check that out. Haven't put much on it lately because I've been working on this channel. Channel was doing really good. But, yeah, Lone Wolf Prepper Lives. My Lone Wolf Prepper channel got canceled. Got Alex Jones. We don't like this channel. So I tried to do stuff not to get canceled. My friend's name is Wong, and he snuck in a cargo ship, and the U.S. does deserve the same treatment as the tacos. We have rules in this country. Every country has rules. And if you don't obey the rules of that country, whether you're a foreigner or a citizen of that country, you become subject to the consequences of the law. The U.S. is not trying to act any different than any other nation in the world. Okay? And all this stuff with no kings and stuff. No king. Who said he's a king? I don't remember Trump getting on TV and threatening the protesters. Ooh, they're sending out the Marines. The protesters with nuclear weapons, F-15s, and Hellfire missiles. Like, the last president did. You ain't going to be able to take on the government unless you have F-15s, Hellfire missiles, and nukes. Well, I hate to tell the government this, but us hardworking Americans paid for all that stuff, and all us vets know how to run all that stuff. So I guess when it comes time to protecting ourselves with that stuff, we're not stealing it. We're just retaining our own property. Oh, why is my hair moving? Because I got the window open. We got about a storm coming. That's why I was looking out the window. Yeah, it gets a little windy here sometimes. But it was one dry spring, and this late spring and early summer is going to be real wet. Unironically. I say what I want to say. It's my channel. If you don't agree with it, I really don't care, but it's my channel. And this is the thing. I believe everybody should have a channel on YouTube. Maybe then if everybody had a channel and we start watching each other's channel, and we start communicating, and maybe start yelling at each other first and acting childish and stuff. But after that phase is over, see, this is why I need a moderator. I sit there, I don't want to silence people, but see, I write the sign, push this button that says, no, this is not made for children. But they have to sit there and add another one. No, this is not made for adult children. And this is what happens. You get these adult children in here that sit in their mama's basement, in between watching porn channels. They come to YouTube and decide to be morons. But like I say, on my channel, if you want to sit there and show who you really are, go for it, okay? Go eat your dog. Don't know what to tell you. Hey, man, deport this guy. That ain't cool. I don't really care. If I went through life trying to please everybody, I'd just be as miserable as everybody else. You go through life trying to make everybody else happy. The only one miserable is yourself. But fine, you people can do that, like you say. You see my shorts, you'll start understanding me. Where what people have to say really doesn't bother me, okay? I'm pretty thick-skinned. I mean, these people sit there, Marines can get pretty excited, but it takes something actually worth getting excited about, and sticks and stones may break my bones, but little liberal pussy-ass words won't hurt me, especially when I know where they're coming from. People that do that type of stuff, why they get off on it and they think it's hurting somebody is because even the littlest hearing the truth or something they don't like is a microaggression to them. Okay? Me, because they're not secure with themselves. They don't like themselves. Somebody like me, I'm confident in my abilities. I like myself. I'm very secure inside myself. Anybody can say whatever they want to me. It really doesn't matter because it doesn't change the way I feel or think about myself. Okay? I just look at it as there's another pathetic creature in this world that has no clue. Okay? Do facts care about feelings? No way. And it's nothing. All you liberals care about feelings? When we go to war, the war you want, remember, you're going to find out in war nobody gives a shit about anybody's fucking feelings. Your safe room and your cry room isn't going to help you. You're sitting there saying, time out, this ain't fair. Your Call of Duty fantasies about hitting the reset button ain't going to work. The world's in for a lot of hurt, and a lot of people are going to get woke up. All these people protesting, no kings, no kings. Exactly what does that mean? Okay, all Democrat wants is a democracy, right? What is democracy? Besides 2 wolves and 1 sheep deciding what's for dinner, okay? And then let's not forget that in this country, the democracy they want, you got the Republican democracy they want and the Democrat democracy you want. So what democracy is the right democracy? But in this country, you find out for 4 years you're the wolf, and then for 4 years you're the sheep. Well, the average American's stuck in the middle. Anyway, crazy times. But, when we can figure all this out, when the damage is all done, 5 years from now, when all this finally gets started and the human beings just finally beat the shit out of each other enough to where we finally want peace and remember what peace is all about. Second, everybody, I gotta close that window. It's raining now. I'm back. I tell you what, it ain't going to stop raining my lawn. After 8 days, I mow it every week now, right? 8 days. That stuff was tall. I did a short about that. Mow it again next weekend when I come home from work. It's going to be just as tall. Pew, I thought ice was coming. I don't have to worry about nothing. Like I say, I wish they'd put a bounty on all these illegals and let American citizens loose to collect their bounties. Watch how fast they run out of here. They'd save the government so much money, and then there'd be the American people doing it. Okay? We could put ICE away and the government away, tell the American people, hey, there's a bounty on every illegal, bring them here, we'll get rid of them. If you can't get them out of the house, just surround the house. And how many are in there? 10 of them? Okay, we'll pay you $10,000. You guys leave, we'll take care of it. Wouldn't that be great if in the United States of America, the law was actually imposed on all people? Okay? So, I don't have a problem with what Trump's doing. I just don't think he's doing enough. I think he's being too soft. They've been warned. Get the hell out. We'll help you leave if you want. And I'm sure they probably give them a spending card as they're leaving too, to help them out a little bit. If you think we should have a dictatorship, I would like you to be our supreme leader. I don't believe in dictatorships. We're not a dictatorship. This is the thing. After our country was formed and Washington was president, and for some reason when countries, get away from that, what they fought for, just like the French did, they wanted to make Washington king. Washington didn't even want to run for a second term because he was ill. He didn't want to die in office. He didn't want that that image of him being just this great guy. You knew he was a normal man, but they wanted him to be king, and he told them no. Just like the French Revolution, after they sat there and got rid of the king and went through their old mess, and then revolution imploded on itself, then they made Napoleon emperor. Good thing we had George Washington as a founding father. Somebody who looked at the world as a simple, humble place and said, oh, how can I make this and make that? Greatest president there ever was. Hey, it's raining. Can you hear that? I tell you what, this is the year for planting grass. That's all I know. Usually around here by June, end of June, you're not even mowing your yard anymore, okay? Heck, I've just got it started. Now it's just going like crazy, but whatever. I need to get my lawn beautiful this year. George Washington is British. He's not. Where's that come from? I don't know what they teach in history in school or civics or government, but they obviously teach that illegal aliens are covered by the Constitution. Okay, really? A lot of the stuff that they say is fact now. If my American history or my government or my civics teacher would have tried to teach this shit, they'd have been fired. Okay? Now, I can't believe there's actually teachers teaching this stuff, but then again, I hear teachers have a problem with what their normal hair is. You know, you corrupt a child's mind. I mean, you can sit there and put somebody in a cage for his whole life and convince him that he's free. All you got to do is put him on the right drugs, right? I mean, how much of our kids' population is on drugs? And then they and then the kids intake this stuff, like No King's Day. And you got some parent there in their house that are getting all worked up about going to the protest for No Kings, and these kids are listening to this shit. Think, well, mom and dad must not be lying. President Trump must be a king. Like I say, if we stick to the Constitution, if you Democrats will stop trying to get rid of your democracy, you know, and we stick to the Constitution, nobody would have to worry about none of this shit. Because the government's hands would be handcuffed and they would have rules and laws to follow. But if we had that, then big money, we'd have honest men in politics, and then big money would be able to control them. And well, and then we just see how it goes. Anyway, king, no King Day. You know, go to the lake, go to the beach, have a barbecue. Okay, go celebrate. What's that holiday that us mega people? I'm not even mega. Us American conservatives aren't supposed to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Go celebrate that, or go take your Mexican flag and go shove it up your ass and go to Mexico. See, like I say, illegal immigrants do not want to be Americans. They want to trash America, exploit America. I mean, how many videos did we see with that? With these illegals that were flipping money around saying, you Americans so stupid. You go to work every day and I take your money. Ha, 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 ha. You know, the thing is, when we deport these illegals, a lot of these liberals need to go with it, okay? You want to support all these people from this country? Go to their country and run for office and make their country great. Go make a socialist country more socialist and make it great. Anyway, no kings, right? No kings. And then I get to hear how their protests, how January 6th was way worse than their protest. January 6th wouldn't even been on the map if BLM and Antifa and the FBI agitators and all the other government agitators wouldn't have been there doing their thing, and the police shooting rubber bullets and stun grenades and stuff at the crowd, tear gas. But that's right. We never got to see the video. They just told us what happened. We don't get to see the evidence, Bunch of crack of shit. How many of these protesters are going to be held in solitary confinement for years without being charged, without getting their due process in unsanitary conditions, being forced to be part of the medical experiment that we're not allowed to know the truth about? I tell you what, I appreciate everybody being here. If you could sit there and hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button and the notification. YouTube's really slamming down on my channel. I mean, I was getting thousands and thousands of viewers on my live stream. Get lots of comments, get lots of support. And I tell you what, the algorithm shut me down like crazy. Okay, and the more thing, I would like to sit there, it's to the point where don't subscribe to my channel. Just somehow remember me. I come live stream about 8 o'clock Mountain Time every night, and then about 6 or 7 in the morning for my coffee talk. And, don't even subscribe, because then the channel grows. Then I'm not allowed. But I tell you what, my analytics look like I got 250,000 subscribers, especially when my channel went nuts. And that's another thing we're dealing with, the algorithm controlling everything, the truth. Like I did a short today about, us being censored. And the thing is, did you see this short? How good does censorship work? Anyway, but these people will all be held accountable for their crimes eventually. Crimes against, there are people that made a living on YouTube. I got a job. I just want to spread the word. That's one thing about this channel. I'll never ask for donations or money or nothing like that. If this channel gets big enough where it can get monetized, the advertisers can pay for it. But the best way you can support this channel is to subscribe, thumbs up, share the videos, okay? The shorts, check out my shorts. The Matrix is downing you, drowning you. Fuck the Matrix. I'm not scared of shit. I'm tired of this. Like I say, I got kids and grandkids. I joined the Marine Corps to protect the average American citizen, and I had to do all my fighting overseas. And I couldn't speak out like this. We didn't have social media. Now that I can sit there and I'll be defending my own soil, and I can get on a social media platform and tell these zipper heads what I think about them. I don't have to be a town crier. I can be a YouTube crier. But what was a town crier? The town crier was back in colonial days, who would sit there and tell the news to everybody in the town square. It was called town crier. Can you please not deport the Latino babies? Strong pack leader vibes. Strong pack leader vibes emanating. Well, this is the thing. People gravitate to a strong person. In today's world, with everybody afraid, I hear creators, well, I may upset some people. I don't care if I upset you. My main purpose is to get you to think. And the best way to get people to react is to get them to get upset. Now, some of my shorts, but I also need to wake people up, jar them a little bit. The best thing is take my shorts. If you know somebody that would disagree with it, send it to them. One of my ex-wives watches me, and I put a short on once on my old channel about raising kids, and she watched that, and the kid said one of my daughters said she bitched for 2 hours after she watched that short, but it got her to think. Okay, and I will say her mannerisms changed. Whatever. Okay. But yeah, I'm a lone wolf. Okay, I'm not afraid to speak my mind. Let the FBI come here in their 6 a.m. fucking raids and shoot me down. I'll be screaming my ass off as they're shooting me down. When Americans start standing up for ourselves and start standing up for the government, and our government starts fearing us like they're supposed to. See, our Constitution was set up so the government always had to fear not pissing the citizen off. Always had to fear that. Because the citizen was armed, he was allowed to sit there and say how he felt, and he had charged from the founding fathers in the Declaration of Independence to throw off any government that thought they wanted to get stupid with us. So the government is supposed to fear us, not fear illegals that are protesting, but fear the American citizen. And I always say, what doctrine do we have to wait for the federal government or any government to tell the American citizens it's time to clean up your country? I look at it this way. If you're at a job and you're in charge and no knucklehead under you will do the job and you're leaving at the end of the day and you see it needs to be done, who gets stuck doing it? You do. Okay? And since the American people have authority in this country, in this government, I guess it falls upon us if our government don't want to do it. And then after we solve that problem, then we'll solve the problem of our government not doing its job. But all you people that think Trump is a king, well, there's more than 50% in this country. Believe me, a lot more than 50% now, especially after you guys all act like a bunch of animals and showed your true colors, that support what's going on. Hopefully this June 14th will be a complete bust. You know, they don't have the Democrats behind them and all the NGOs giving them their money and stuff that they need. I mean, all these protests must really be costing George Soros and his buddies a lot of money. Okay? Because pallets of bricks again? Like I said, I still don't understand how they can't go to the store where they were bought from. I mean, FBI investigates, right? Go to every goddamn store in the city in LA and say, can we see your receipts for the last 3 days, please? Oh, you sold a couple pallets of bricks. Can we see who paid for this, please? I mean, if you FBI can't do it, hey, give me a badge and the authority. I'll go do it. I'll do the investigating. But see, the same thing would happen like happened to Elon Musk. Found all this fraud? Nah. Good thing you showed it up. Well, do we just get to spend more money on it now and nobody goes to jail? Kind of like in the military, you know, let's say you're doing some recon. I don't know. And you see stuff. You come back and report it. Then they go, it can't be that way. You must be wrong. Nobody wants to deal with the truth. Okay? This guy's name. Dude, can you stop with the dog? I definitely need to get some moderators. Like I say, you have freedom of speech on this channel. But when I have Google in here because people are being morons, I guess I'll tell my moderators, when you feel like Google's going to have to get into my live stream, then do something about it, okay? But I need intelligent adults in here. I don't care what side you're on. Just be an intelligent adult. And come past, show yourself as somebody that we can have a constructive conversation with. Benji, did you ever go to a Benji movie? Are you that old that you went to a Benji movie? I am. Or did you even know that there was a dog named Benji that made movies? Did you even know that? Like I say, I could sit there and do shorts all day long, teasing liberals. They're so easy because all they do is act on emotion. They have no logic. They have no critical thinking abilities. They act instinctively like animals. Okay, that's why we are able to hunt the animals and animals don't hunt us. Okay? Yeah, there were movies back about Benji back in the 70s. No, Benji wasn't a movie director. Hell, I must entertain you guys, huh? Nobody else is here leaving comments. What if I'm an adult child in my mom's basement switching between tabs and naughty videos? Am I allowed a free speech? Yeah, you're absolutely allowed free speech. When I was in the Marine Corps, this is why I'm so much on free speech. Because it wasn't about the people that I agreed with. Okay? Believe me, in the military units too, you live with a lot of people that you're not all on the same page when it comes to a lot of things. But you're all on the same page when it comes to your job. And your job is to protect the freedom of speech for everybody. How are you supposed to have an open discussion with somebody in debate if you're restricted on what you can say? I mean, you're not going to advance knowledge that way, are you? I mean, everybody that tells somebody shut up or makes them shut up, well, you just restricted your knowledge, buddy. You don't want to hear what somebody has to say? Doesn't mean you got to agree with it, but at least it gives you some knowledge, at least how they think and act. But anyway, I'm dealing with YouTube so much. Like I say, for a week or about 5 days, my channel went into hyperspace. Then I got stuck on the shoulder doing 5 miles an hour on the interstate again, thanks to the old algorithm. I love it when computers are in charge of our First Amendment. And I love it when we got the ATF, a 3-letter agency that gets to regulate our Second Amendment. I guess we don't have to, anybody know what the Third Amendment is? Everybody, I'm sure, is scratching their heads right now. It has something to do with quartering soldiers, remember? Everybody like, why would they have that in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights? Because the people were forced to quarter soldiers and take care of them. And if they want to rape their daughter, well, there's nothing they could do about it. Okay? Fourth and Fifth Amendment, well, it all depends on your place in society if you have them, okay? And I love the 10th Amendment. How all of a sudden the Democrats understand the 10th Amendment. It's amazing. They never understood it before. They understand states' rights now. They understand that if it's not in the Constitution, where that subject is not covered in the Constitution, that the states are the ones that regulate that type of stuff. Oh my goodness. The Democrats know something about the Constitution. But you still have Hillary Clinton saying that the Second Amendment, there's restrictions to the First Amendment, and we have the ATF regulating the Second Amendment. Sounds like a lot of freedom to me, huh? Anyway, but we live in a land of kings, huh? The second we become a nation of kings, this thing, we get all these old people and their family and stuff out of the presidency, and we get some new blood in there. So I guess you can say, we had the first George Bush and the second George Bush. So we have 2 dynasties of Bushes. And let's just say the people that like spending money in Washington like George Bush too. If you can get rich off of Washington, D.C., you don't care who's in office. That's why all these rich people give to both parties. How? Because they're in it for what's in it for them. Who can they buy? So I guess a rich person, when they give to both parties, like Donald Trump, Epstein, what do you think about Chelsea taking the reins next? I hope the hell not. But I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, to talk about Michelle Obama. or Michael, however you want to put it. I'm not going to get into that discussion. I really don't care. But they're talking about her. Like I say, is there any new blood out there on either side? I don't want to vote for Clintons. I don't want to vote for Bushes. I don't want to vote for Obamas, okay? And I don't want to vote for another Trump. I don't want to vote for anybody who's been in politics the last 2 years. I want an American to rise up, and with all this stuff going on, some American is going to rise up from all these situations that's going to happen. And he's going to bond all us conservatives, vets, and patriots together, just as organized. I tell you what, that's one thing about the other side. They are organized. I mean, at these protests, they actually have supply drops, medical facilities. They get fed. They have a chow hall, basically. When conservatives, the right person comes around and bonds us together. See, the other side, they're bound together by their ideology. And you say, well, they just follow the most person that screams the loudest. What do you mean I work at McDonald's and I'm scared of illegals named Carlos is going to steal my job? You never had dealt with illegal immigration? Let me tell you here something. In agriculture, I've lost jobs to illegals. I've lost jobs to people that were here legally from other countries, mainly South Africa, that people hired over me. Yeah, I've lost jobs to illegals. It's affected me personally. I haven't lost a loved one because of one, but I've lost employment because of them. Okay? So yeah. I'm glad you don't have to worry about it at McDonald's, but you know, a lot of these ICE raids they're having are connected to agriculture businesses now, aren't they? Or businesses that, you know, I like doing stuff. I like being a poor, humble man. I don't need all this excitement in my life. And the last thing I'm going to do is chase a worthless green piece of paper my whole life and dedicate my life to it, and I'll do anything for it. Never. See, when you don't have no bills and all you have is your cell phone bill and your car insurance, your life gets a lot easier and nobody controls it. I like living the poor, humble life. You know, people would understand what true freedom was then. Get away from all the pleasures of the flesh and the fast-paced world. Look at where it led us. Anyway, traditional America still exists where I live. Can you please be our dictator? Let me tell you something about me in politics, okay? If I were ever to get into politics, I'd be a dead man in the first day. Because I would downsize the government to the Department of State, the Department of Treasury, Department of Defense, and the Attorney General. Everything else would be gone. Welfare system, the whole goddamn works. The government would stay out of your business. Here's your pursuit of happiness. We'll make sure that your life is secure so we don't have no foreign invaders and stuff. We'll make sure that your money supply is secure, which our government don't do no more. Obviously, with trillions of dollars in debt, our dollar ain't worth shit no more. I'd bring traditional America back, and we'd adhere to the Constitution. All this other ATF, FBI, IRS, Federal Reserve, all this stuff would be gone, and people that broke the law and were traitors to America would be tried publicly, and if necessary, they'd be executed publicly. Is that a little harsh? Isn't that the same thing that would happen to me if I was doing the same shit they were? You know, I used to have a security clearance in the military. If I would have gave away secrets or did any of the shit they do, I know what happened to me. When you get clearance, you have to sign paperwork. What it all came down to is you die if you do anything stupid because you got this. But, you know, Hillary Clinton's allowed to have a server in her, unsecured server in her house. But James Comey, she didn't really mean to break the law, but she did. I don't forget much shit. And the world's been a crazy place for a long time. And now what's going on between the war that's going to erupt in this country, and, you know, we may have bombs falling on our cities. That's another thing. When this country first starts getting hit by nuclear weapons, I guarantee all the illegals will leave that day. Every last one that's alive will be out of here like snot that you wouldn't believe, because they know Mexico's not going to get hit. They know El Salvador's not going to get hit. They know that the Dominican Republic's not going to get hit. Right? Or Guatemala? Or Colombia? Those people will be gone in a second. Right? Or, you know, let's say the dollar collapses and our money supply is worth nothing. Then they'll leave too, because then we have no welfare because the country can't afford it. The peso will be worth more than the dollar, so they'll go back home and make money. So just the path that this country's on is going to get rid of all the illegals. Okay, Americans start shooting at each other and them, they'll leave. Nuclear bombs start flying in this country, they'll leave. Our dollar collapses, they'll leave. Or maybe we could start enforcing the Constitution and start doing good things, enforcing the law, and downsize our government, just get out of the world's problems, and maybe we can turn this country around. Anyway, it just, I made a live stream the other night about our country and the world collapsing, and wasn't but the next day and bombs are flying, and oh, it's just crazy. Should we ruin the economy to get rid of the taco people? We don't have to try to ruin the economy. It's already ruined. Why don't we have soup kitchen lines? Why don't we? Because there isn't poverty and people that need it? No, we have EBT. That's why we don't have food kitchen lines. How long would the food kitchen lines be if we didn't have EBT? Longer than they were during the Depression. See, the government hides a lot of our problems. We're already there. We're already there. The collapse is 100% for sure. We're never going to dig ourselves out of the hole. But eventually the dirt's going to start collapsing in on us, okay? And then people are going to get woke up to what's happening. The thing is, when the government can't afford to hide it with the money they're hiding it with, then reality is going to hit a lot of people. And me being the person, you know, I'm not going to feel it. You know, people will be out the streets with pitchforks and torches and everything, and I still won't even feel a ripple in the water of the bad thing that's going to happen because I'm totally independent. I don't need the system. You know, when I got out of the Marine Corps in '94 and I saw the way the world was going, and that was 31 years ago, and I saw the way the world was going, it's like my crystal ball was wide open. You know, I go in the Marine Corps, Ronald Reagan's in office, and I come out and Bill Clinton's in office. Believe me, I noticed a big difference. And I've lived a lifestyle since then to be debt-free and totally off the system, stayed healthy so I don't have to take no medication. I'm not dependent on anybody. Woo! I'm not dependent on the system for anything. Okay? So, you know, the pharmaceutical companies hate me, the government hates me, because somebody who don't need nothing from anybody can't be controlled either. So anyway, but I went on too long. I've been on here for almost an hour and 20 minutes. Sure appreciate everybody being here. Like I say, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you would, hit the notification bell. I go live twice a day now. I want to get the truth out because stuff's really starting to get bad. And I don't care if you come in here and say a bunch of stuff that, whatever, at least you're here hearing it. So maybe when you do wake up, you'll understand. Like I say, the happiest person in the world is somebody that goes to sleep a liberal and wakes up a conservative, okay? Not a Republican, not a Democrat, but a conservative. an American constitutional loving conservative, and understand how blessed we are. All right. Well, I don't know if you're fucking with me, but let me tell you something. You never want another man making decisions for you. You want to be in control of your own life. And that's the thing our Constitution was written on. No man would ever become so powerful that he was going to be telling the society what to do, or his word becomes law. All right? And, I don't know if you believe in God, but that's your leader, okay? That's the person you're going to have to answer to one day. Or whoever your spiritual being is that teaches you to be the moral person, okay? But don't ever bow down to a man. Ever. And don't think that another man's more capable than you when it comes to things. A man's capability is only limited by his ambition to succeed. And somebody who wants to succeed at something, whether it be a Olympic athlete or, the supreme hunter or whatever it is, you sacrifice and you can become the best. And there's things that suck at everything. And you got to be able to get through that sucky part. Anyway, you're capable of what any other man's capable of. Being a good person, being a bad person. We should all try to do our best. Now the power's flicking. So if I lose you, I better get rolling here. I might lose electricity. That's one thing about out here. We do lose power a lot in storms and stuff. Anyway. But everybody have a great night. Appreciate everybody being here. And I'll be back about between 6 and 7 tomorrow morning with the coffee talk. Hopefully the nukes haven't been flying by then. Like I say, I live 10 miles from the silos. I'll know right away if we're at nuclear war. Crazy time. Anyway, everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you later. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out.